Jalen and Jacoby is presented by Samuel Adams.
He's Jalen Rose. I'm David Jacoby. We are Jalen and Jacoby. What is it that we do, Jalen Rose?
We give the people!
We have an indication that the Patriots could trade their best player. We also will be joined by none other than Buffalo's own Benny the Butcher. The Butcher is coming. But we start with some really interesting news in the NBA. Daryl Morey is soon to join the Philadelphia 76ers as the president of basketball operations, meaning Elton Brand stays as the GM. Daryl Morey wheels and deals and flips rosters routinely. Jalen, what do you think this could mean for the Sixers roster?
I think this is a great hire for Philly. The one thing that Daryl was able to do in Houston was acquire James Harden when he was the sixth man in OKC, turn him into a max player and an MVP candidate. Mm-hmm. The genius of Mike D'Antoni was to put the ball in James Harden's hands when he was playing like a traditional shooting guard, and then he became a 30-point scorer that could also lead the league in assists. But what Daryl Morey was not able to do, Jacoby, is show that his micro ball can actually win when it mattered the most. And they had a couple of times in a couple of playoff series where that style fizzled out. So now you put him in Philadelphia, you totally gutted the Rockets roster. So now if you're Daryl Morey, what moves can you initially make to change the dynamics of Philadelphia instantly? And they're going to be looking at Joel Embiid versus Ben Simmons. If I'm Daryl Morey, I try to find a way to parlay Joel Embiid for Russell Westbrook and or PJ Tucker. In Houston, they're going to have to play more traditionally. So therefore, you have James with the ball on the perimeter, and you have Embiid as his big. In the Eastern Conference, you have two guys in Ben Simmons and Russell Westbrook that no one is ever going to stop from getting to the basket.
Nope.
No one. Both of those guys have found ways to not be able to shoot jump shots and still basically flirt with triple doubles, and Russell's been an MVP of the league. And you say, well, that's not Morey ball. Morey ball is actually also getting layups and dunks and getting to the free throw line. Those two guys do that too. We get so enamored in the three-point shot. You got to remember, they played against the Golden State Warriors and missed 27 in a row when it mattered the most. You can't solely rely on the three. So if you got two of those guys that can play make in the East, Russell Westbrook and Ben Simmons in the East? When do they play the Nets? When do they play the Nets? When do they play the Celtics? When do they play the Heat? I'm here for this. And so if I'm Daryl Morey with Doc Rivers, I try to find a way to parlay Embiid. People are going to be saying Simmons, but he's healthier. Embiid has had an injury issue. He can't really practice every game. He's going to have load management, but he's all NBA talent. Anybody wants Joel Embiid on their team. And so if I'm Morey, that's what I'm considering doing.
Very interesting. So you're considering an Embiid for Westbrook trade. And one thing that's interesting about Embiid, which is not necessarily in lockstep with Daryl Morey's basketball ethos, is Embiid scores a lot out of the post. They post him up a lot. And as you notice in the NBA, especially a Daryl Morey team, not a lot of post-ups, a lot more pick and rolls. And a Westbrook-Simmons duo would certainly lend itself to more of a Daryl Morey-style basketball that I'm sure Doc Rivers would be happy with. But one thing you have to remember with Daryl Morey in this role, along with Elton Brand, is if you look at the contracts that the Philadelphia 76ers have committed to already with their big four players, they are tied up. They look at all this money that they have tied up over the next 3 seasons. Those are big numbers. Al Horford is making $27 million. So Daryl Morey, in order to really make an impact on the roster, is going to have to try to get off one of these. And Embiid to Houston for Westbrook would certainly be interesting. However, if I'm Houston and I see Daryl Morey's phone come up on my phone, I'm not answering the phone call because I've spent the last 10 years watching him make trades on my behalf and try to rip off other teams and get undervalued players. I'm not going to allow him to do the same thing to me that he has just done for me. There is also some news for those Houston Rockets. They now have a head coach, and that comes in the form of Steven Silas. Jalen, what does Steven Silas' hire tell you about the Rockets situation?
I'm happy for him, and he did a terrific job as the assistant with the Mavs. Look at players like Luka Doncic as a young point guard that has basically established himself as a top 10 player in the game. And when you watch the Mavs actually play, when you look deeper into their team, it's like, wait a minute, Trey Burke wasn't in the league, and now he's balling in the bubble? Tim Hardaway Jr. is actually playing really well. And so that development that they've been able to do from within has a lot to do with his assistant coaching. And so he deserves an opportunity as a head coach. And now I believe he's going to play more traditional basketball, meaning how other teams are playing in today's game, pace and space, but not have a center that's 6'5". How about that?
We will certainly look to them to upgrade at that position. Love PJ Tucker, but he's probably more of a natural 4 than a 5. Jalen, I'm a bit obsessed with real estate. I love looking at my apps to see what's available out there, even though I don't have Jalen Rose money to actually make any moves. However, if you live in the Boston area and you were looking at Zillow, a very interesting post just recently went up, and that is the home of that man, Gilmore. The best player on the Patriots put his home, that home, in Foxborough up for just under $1 million. Jalen, could this mean that he either wants to be traded or is going to be traded because he is now committed $17.7 million against the cap next year that I'm sure the Patriots would like to get off? Do you think that Gilmore putting his house up
in my head
means that he's getting traded?
It's called I've Been There, I Done That. That's Dr. Dre, right? I've been there, dog. Member of the Pacers. All of a sudden, it's like, what? I'm not starting? Like, oh, okay. House for sale. See, this is way before, like, social media and stuff. And I've told you guys, when you go into this season with Cam Newton on a one-year deal as your contract, on the contract, Jarrett Stidham at his backup, and Brian Hoyer, y'all ain't been paying attention to the fact that the Patriots are tanking? Like, that's what they're doing. It's great if Cam plays well. Boom, we caught lightning in a bottle. We'll turn that distressed asset into something else. But we've seen the Gilmores before Gilmore. What about Darrelle Revis, Hakeem Talib? When they wanted to turn the team over, that was a position that they did it with. Ty Law, Lawyer Malloy, that's what they have done. And so for a guy that's been Defensive Player of the Year, you want to sell high on a team that's not going to meet 6-time championship level expectation. No surprises here. No harm, no foul. And if you're in the Boston area, take that crib off of his hands. Take that crib off of his hands. Give him a chance to go somewhere else and get him another Super Bowl ring.
It's a nice house.
Don't be like me playing in Chicago. Don't be like me playing in Chicago and still got my house in Indiana.
After a loss, a Bengal, Carlos Dunlap, did something similar. He put his house up over social media, and then he was traded to the Seahawks. And let's just take a look at what he posted on social media recently, because you have to see this. There is him in the backfield causing problems. But Jalen, one thing that's important is the perks that come with a job, especially when you've been there for a long time. And one of the perks that Carlos Dunlap had with the Bengals was the #1 parking spot in the lot at the facility, and he no longer has that. This is what he posted on social media. He takes the sign, and takes it right off, and says, it took me 10 years to earn the first parking spot, and he no longer needs it. Jalen, what does this post tell you about Dunlap?
Let me tell you what this post tells me about Dunlap. He going to Seattle. He going to Seattle. He going to Seattle. Did I say that again? He going to Seattle. Do they still have Pete Carroll? Do they still have Russell? Did they add Jamal Adams this offseason?
Yes, they did.
Carson in the backfield? Rocket to lock it outside with my guy Metcalf? Okay. Do they still got Bobby Wagner? He going to play with them. So he upgraded. Congratulations, big fella. Take that with you.
I love the fact that he had to post the parking spot, because I'm sure he was so proud of that. Because Jalen, I know you like these kind of perks around the office. You want your own office, and you want to sit over here and have this taken care of for you. And you know that he was so proud to have those perks. But do you know what he will trade? he'll trade all those perks for a chance to play for the Seahawks and really contend for a Super Bowl this year in the NFC instead of watching Joe Burrow develop. Jalen, Gronk is back to his old self. The last couple games, he's scored touchdowns, he's had multiple receptions, and now he's back to his old goofy self with the sound bites. Take it away, Gronk.
It's like a saying my mom used to say, it must be maple syrup because butter don't drizzle like that. You know, you don't got much time to react, and syrup drizzles. You got to make that play. And a stick of butter, it's a block. You got to put it in the microwave to melt it. That just takes too long. You got to make that play right away, baby. And that's why, that's why I'm like the maple syrup. That's why she used to always say that, because I'm quick with it. I just drizzle all over the place.
Wow. First off, that was him discussing catching a back shoulder fade pass from Tom Brady. But however, there's one thing that I do agree with him. While that didn't make any sense whatsoever, butter is extremely difficult to work with. If you take it out of the fridge, it's too cold, it's too hard, you gotta use two hands to cut it, you can't spread it on a piece of toast. I really feel like butter needs to be easier to work with, and I am with Gronk. Drizzle over butter every day of the week. Your thoughts?
There's something with cooking and eating that's called planning, which means you can actually take the butter out prior to eating, so therefore it's not cold when you decide to use it with your meal, number one. Number two, if you don't have the time to melt some butter, that's a level of privilege I just can't understand. I just can't relate to that. I don't understand. What do you mean it takes too long?
It takes too long. It's actually the opposite of privilege, because I'm so busy because I have to work so hard. I'm not just rich and taken care of like you. That's the difference. You probably have someone that takes the butter out of the fridge for you. That's probably how you are living in your palace. Jalen.
Sometimes.
I have 3 words for you. 4 words. The butcher is coming. Benny the Butcher joins us right here on Jalen and Jacoby. You don't want to miss that. Stay tuned.
Big Griselda.
Jalen and Jacoby is presented by Samuel Adams from Boston with love. Savor the flavor responsibly. Part of Happy Hour.
Don't forget to vote on Election Day, November 3rd. For more information, visit IamAvoter.com.
Coming to you live from Pier 17 in the South Street Seaport and brought to you by Chase. Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby. Jalen, what does our next guest have?
Bars!
We are now joined. Buffalo's own, Griselda's own, Benny the Butcher joins us on Jalen and Jacoby. Thank you so much for taking the time. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. What's up, fellas?
Now, we will get to your new album, Burden of Proof, but first we want to start with what's happening in Buffalo right now with the Buffalo Bills. What is the vibe in the city? How does it feel to have the Bills playing well?
You know, everybody love it, man. Everybody feel like Josh Allen is a stud. We trust in Sean McDermott, his offense. And the morale in the city is high thanks to the Bills, man. As fans, we still supporting, even though there's no fans in the stadium. We outside the stadium. We traveling with the team still. Man, the morale is high, man. They doing a lot for the city. Go Bills.
Shout to Conway the Machine, West Side Gun. You guys always put on for Buffalo. You always shout out the Bills. And you always talk about, even in your music, being a true fan is somebody that's willing to go sit out and support your team in the cold. So now that you guys have Stephon Diggs, you think Josh Allen is going to be that guy to take you one day to the Super Bowl like Jim Kelly did and possibly win it?
Man, I think so. You know what I'm saying? The AFC East is looking thin right now, and you know, the more Josh and Stephon get to play together, the more synergy they're gonna get. So, man, we believe it. Everything is looking up for us. We believe anything can happen.
Absolutely. Now, a lot of people don't draw the connection between Khalil Mack and Buffalo. What is the connection between Khalil Mack and Buffalo?
Man, you know, he did a lot for us at UB. You know what I'm saying? We used to go to those games and watch Khalil Mack. Watch him do his thing at UB, man. He's been a man-child. He's been terrorizing things in Western New York, man. We just happy for him and the success that he having in the NFL, man. He's a stud, too.
And someone else that had success last night, one of my favorite baseball players of all time, Mookie Betts.
Oh, man.
What was it like to see your guy win the World Series?
That's my guy, man. Mookie, that's my guy. I'm a big fan of his. I never met him, and it just feel good. I felt like I won last night. You know what I'm saying? This baseball season, it's been rough. You know what I'm saying? Especially in the last couple games. You know what I'm saying? But they pulled it out in LA, the city of champions again. So shout out to Mookie Betts and the LA Dodgers, man. LA, y'all need a parade, man. We need a parade in LA.
So, you've been putting out music since the early 2000s, I think all the way back 2003, 2004, and Griselda's been sort of jumping on the national stage in the last few years. What does it feel like to sort of have all that grind pay off over time?
Man, it feels good. It feels good. It's like now we finally getting our just due. We had to put in the work. It's almost like it's like a sports thing. We wasn't ready until we got the right coach, or we wasn't ready till we got the right situation, but we already always had the players. We've been dropping music, like you said, since the early 2000s, but it feel good that the music is starting to resonate and people starting to see what Buffalo was about, and we getting our point across. Man, it feels dope. I love it.
And so many things make Griselda whole movement dope to me. And sonically, whether it's Alchemist, whether it's Hit Boy, whether it's all of you guys have distinct styles of the way you deliver, how important was it to always stay true to that?
Super important, because in this music's climate, everybody tried to tell, in the early Griselda years, everybody tried to tell us like, man, y'all sure? Y'all need to do a record like this, or y'all need to do a record with this person, or y'all should do that. And nobody kind of believed in our formula but us. And seeing that sticking to our guns got us here is like a defining moment that we was always doing the right thing, no matter what people around us felt. When they didn't believe it, we still believed in the formula. And to see everything come to life, man, it's dope. And we just trying to run further, man. We just trying to keep going. It's a marathon.
Now, to me, the apex of hip-hop was the Wu-Tang Clan Enter the 36 Chambers. In my mind, that is my favorite hip-hop group of all time. What does it feel like to be part of Griselda and to get co-signed by these legends in Wu-Tang?
It's crazy. I still can't believe it. You know what I mean? I talked to Ray, I talked to Ghost, and I just kick it with these dudes, and it's like, yo, these guys don't even know they my idols. And it's a blessing to have legends and veterans like that on your side, and I utilize those dudes, you know what I'm saying? Like everything, I compare everything to sports. It's like in the summertime, when guys go train with Olajuwon, that's how I feel when I'm just taking game from Ray and taking game from all these legends who've been in this game before, and I feel like that's almost like a cheat code.
And real recognize real. And you guys' first project, What Was She Could Do, Raekwon was on the intro. Like, I remember listening to Allegory, and all of you guys was on Royce's album. That's my brother, friend of the show. And I appreciate you rhyming with Boldy James, putting on for Detroit, scraping the bowl. Can you let people know what Black Soprano family represents to you?
It's a big family. It's just a family thing, because a lot of times, people get the music business confused, and they like to praise the rapper. And I'm just the guy in front of the camera. I'm just the front man. But the Black Soprano family is a whole bunch of dudes that do music, and some dudes who don't do music, who A&Rs, producers, just the team in whole, and I wanted to include them, so I call it the Black Soprano family, and everybody is part of the group, and it's bigger than an artist, it's bigger than the flashy lights the people just see on TV and just see me in the video with the jewels on. It's like people who you would never see who's responsible for big things in my career. So, you know what I'm saying? They Black Soprano family.
Jalen mentioned the WWCD album, and I hit up my Buffalo contacts, and they told me that the woman on the album cover is a known face around Buffalo that hangs out on the same corner all the time. Why did you decide to put her on the album?
Man, it's almost like an inside thing for people from Buffalo. Claire, her name Claire. She's like a staple in the city. Everybody know her. No matter what part of town you from, what color you are, everybody knows Claire. Everybody greet her. She greets everybody. So it was like a our thing, a thing of ours moment when the whole city seen her on the cover and the whole city seen her face plastered all over Times Square. It was like a Buffalo thing. Like, okay, like Buffalo, we really doing something. We got Claire up there in Times Square. So it was almost like an inside joke thing. But man, the people reacted to it crazy.
Well, it's great to see you shining. You don't mind lifting up your chain a little bit for the audience to see, because I want to ask you an important question. Because you wanted to wear those jewels one day, and you was listening to some of your favorite groups of all time. So I must ask you, please let us know your 5 favorite rap groups of all time.
Let's go in no particular order. We got you gotta go to the Wu, you gotta go to W, and then you have to go to Mobb Deep, rest in peace, Prodigy. You have to go to the Locks. Those guys raised me too. I went on tour with those guys when I was still living in the projects, man. And then you have to go to Run DMC. My pops used to play these dudes so much. My pops used to have the speaker in his backseat of his car. You know what I'm saying? And we ride and we listen to Run DMC. You know what I'm saying? And then the last one, it kind of fluctuates, man. You got a lot of dudes, man. You got guys like Outkast. You got guys like I could have said like Gangstar. Right. Just so many groups. Throwbacks. Right. Just so many groups that affect me. I had to go back because there's just so many groups that affected me growing up and musically that, you know what I'm saying? I got to include them.
And one of the things that me and Jalen love so much about the Griselda movement is you guys are a true group. Like, you're a real group, and we don't see that so much in hip-hop anymore. And you also have a solo album out now. How do you balance the two?
It's about playing my position on the team. That's what it's about. It's about playing my role. Because when Wes is doing his thing, that works out for me. When Conway doing his thing, that works out for me. And sometimes, like, those guys dropped all year and I dropped last. Like, I kind of needed that to gain my momentum and feature on those guys' albums. So it's a thin line between working on your projects and working on projects with the group. But I find the middle ground and I balance it out. And it's just about being focused, but I also need those features and to work with the guys to come work alone because it motivates me to take my thinking process back to my project. Because when I hear Conway's album, I got no choice but to go in and write something crazy. So you know what I'm saying? It's a one togetherness thing.
Burden of Proof is out right now. Bars! Can you let our audience know some of the people that are featured on there?
Burden of Proof out right now, all streaming platforms. I got Rick Ross on there. My partner, Freddie Gibbs on there. I got Queen Naija on there. I got Dom Kennedy on there. Westside Gun, Conway the Machine. Oh my goodness, Lil Wayne, Big Sean. So I got a lot of good features on there, man. It's a good project for y'all to check out.
Wow, what a list of features on Burden of Proof. Who is an artist that you were looking forward to working with that you haven't worked with yet?
Man, I get asked this question a lot, and I hate saying it, but, Jay-Z is my favorite rapper, you know what I'm saying? And it's like my mentor lately. I want to get one in with him. I want to get one in with the big homie. I think that'd be legendary. I still got work to do, though.
Well, we rock family. I anticipate that that's going to happen. You got the #1 album. Congratulations. Jalen and Jacoby is your home turf. Feel free to come back and kick it with us anytime.
Anytime.
Oh, man, I appreciate y'all boys, man.
Of course. Benny the Butcher, Burden of Proof is out now. Stay tuned. You're watching Jalen and Jacoby. Want to thank Benny the Butcher for coming by. He's the best.
The Butcher
Burden of Proof is out.
The Butcher coming.
Such a good album. Such a good album. Griselda is just an amazing, amazing group. Just a throwback group. And it's always good to see a group like that that's been grinding for over a decade finally get their due respect. Jalen, there's a story about Halloween decorations that's too hot for TV. Couldn't put it on the TV show. In Texas, there was this family, and they decided to mix it up a little bit with their Halloween decorations outside. And what they did is they took some skeletons and put some colorful wigs on them and had them dancing on poles outside in their lawn. They had some stripper skeletons out there just to mix it up and have a little fun for the community. The community turned on them and demanded that they take down the stripper skeletons. Jalen, soft move or boss move, taking down the stripper skeletons.
I know you hate follow-up questions, but I need a little more attention to detail before I give you my true answer. When you say stripper skeletons on a pole outdoors, that means that they probably had on, they were skeletons, but they also had on maybe underclothes or lingerie?
Clothed. They were not clothed. They were skeletons that just had on a wig and a wig only.
Skeletons, am I bugging? Do skeletons
Do you know what a skeleton
ever have
is?
Clothes on?
Do you know what a skeleton is?
I know what a skeleton is.
No. Tell me what a skeleton is. No, tell me what a skeleton is right now. Oh, it's one of my favorite moments. I love it when I get you to these spots. Because I know you know what a skeleton is, but I also know that you're not going to be able to articulate it into a microphone right now. What is a skeleton, Jalen?
Well, here's what I learned a long time ago. This is a perfect example of somebody trying to speed you up. When you're watching a basketball game and you're like, Luka never gets sped up, this is Jacoby trying to make me rush to answer. So therefore, when you rush to answer,
take your time. What's a skeleton?
You don't have something articulate to say.
No one tell him in his ear.
If they're not telling me. So a skeleton is an image of bones. An image of bones.
An image of bones. Please expand. An image of bones. So like a picture of bones is a skeleton.
A skull. A skull. A skull.
Skull, yep, got that.
It's basically what you would look like. It's basically what we would look like without our skin, without our pigmentation, without our blood, without our...
Yeah, you're pretty much there. A skeleton is a human form of just bones. That's what a skeleton is, okay?
Right.
And they've got human form, but they do not wear clothes generally. Skeletons don't wear a lot of clothes. So these skeletons are wearing no clothes.
That's what I was thinking.
They've got a wig on. They've got a wig on, and they're in some compromising positions on these poles. They're not just leaning up against the pole like it's a street light. They're doing some stripperish type of
I got an answer
poses.
for you then.
Okay.
So here's the adult answer I want to give everybody. If it only affects you, I'm good with it. When it starts to affect the community, in particular minors in the community, I think it's inappropriate.
I felt the same. As much as I wanted to ride for the stripper skeletons.
I understand. Yeah. You know, I would,
with 3 kids.
Blindfolded, I would ride. You know those.
I know. I know how you feel about the community.
Those essential workers for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, but
I know.
No. And I got a different example for you.
Okay.
And I'm ready. I'm ready for the 10-year feedback, you guys. And I know we talk about medicinal and we joke a lot. But as an adult, you may drink in front of your kids, Jacoby. But if you were somebody that chose to partake in medicinal activities, would that be something you did in front of your kids? Is that something that your friends do in front of their kids?
No.
Right.
No.
So therefore, to me, that's not something that I would promote because it's not something that I would do in front of my young kids.
So if you have Jalen Jr., you're not going to drink a glass of wine in front of Jalen Jr. if he's 3 years old?
Yes. I will.
You're not going to. You will. Yeah, you will. Do you know what I told my kids? We told my kids that it's caffeine. So we don't use the term alcohol. They'll be like, oh, I want a sip of that. I'll be like, no, there's caffeine in that. There's caffeine in that. That's what I told my kids. Am I lying to my children? Yes. But do they go to their teachers or whatever and say that daddy drinks alcohol at night? Like, no, daddy drinks caffeine. Daddy drinks caffeine. That's what I do. You can't have a sip of that. There's caffeine in that. That's what we tell them. Listen, that might not be the most moral move, but hey, little thing that we do.
No, it is. No, it is. It's almost like if you want to listen to your favorite music, and it has a lot of curse words, and it has a lot of promiscuous words, or has a lot of words in there that you don't want your young child to actually hear, here's how you get your hip-hop fix, or your R&B fix, or your rock and roll fix, or whatever music that you like, your heavy metal fix. Just listen to the instrumental.
They have the non-explicit
Just
version.
listen to the instrumental.
The non-explicit version. Except for WAP.
But
I can't listen to the WAP.
non-explicit versions.
edit.
Right. Think about it. If you have a non-explicit version, sometimes it dilutes you hearing the record because it keeps having the pregnant pauses.
Mm-hmm. Wu-Tang was always really good with that.
It sometimes, right. It sometimes eliminates the actual content. But you can always listen to the beat. With a newborn, 16-year-old, and always listen to the beat.
I find that hip-hop instrumentals get boring to me after a while. Like, they need to switch up every 45 seconds because they're just so repetitive that I find that like after 2 minutes, I'm like, I'm good with this. I'm moving on. Play to some jazz. Now,
that's just your ADD,
producers.
dog. That's just your ADD. That's just your
I'm like
ADD.
that with the
We all
music
have
too.
our
Like I
forms.
like a nice DJ that plays like the first verse, the chorus, the first verse, and the chorus, then moves on. So we've got some very important breaking information, Jalen. Our producer Andrea told me that there's a voicemail that she can't wait for us to hear. We have 2 today on deck. I don't know which one is which, but something tells me we'll be able to tell. What's the number that people should call? Leave us voicemail.
98580JALEN.
Right now, call 98580-JALEN. We'll put you on the show just like this.
Hey Jalen, hey Jacoby. This is Ali from Iran, international caller. Shout out. So I have a question. In the past couple of years, I've been single a lot and trying to date beautiful women and girls. And the problem I have is whenever I'm about to go on a date or they're about to come to my house, I get really stressed out. Like really stressed out to the point that my stomach hurts and I almost want to throw up. And I do everything I can. I clean the house, I put on nice clothes, I shower, I prepare food, I prepare snacks. I do everything I can. But I don't know the reason that I get stressed so much with different women. I mean, at different times, of course. So it's a me problem. I don't know why. Can you guys help me, please? Thank you, and shout out Rich.
Okay, love the international callers. Now, this young man, he's trying to date beautiful women. And whenever he gets a date, and they're going to come to his home, he gets really stressed out. And it's so much so that his stomach hurts, and he's just got real anxiety about it, right? I think his name is Andy. I'm not sure. So, Jalen, what advice do you have for this young man who gets really nervous, anxious before dates?
A couple of things. Thank you for the call. We appreciate the support, and you guys know the rules. The only way we're going to play your voicemail, you got to shout out Reg the Ledge. That's how this works. Here's what I'll say to him, Jacoby. You'll appreciate this one. He got to change the venue. That's the problem. He got to change the venue.
Home games
You
are
can't
good.
continue to have him at... What'd you say?
I like home games. Home games are good for dating. Get a good home record. People get a good idea of what your life is like, and they see what you put on the walls, and you can get a, especially early on in a relationship when you go to someone's home, you can get a nice rounded idea of sort of what this person's soul and vibe is like from where they live. And also, there's a bed there. Move on, Jalen.
Again, you sound like somebody that's been in a relationship almost 20 years, that's happily married and have 3 kids.
Facts.
You
All
don't
facts.
need a bed to have sex, Jacoby. I hate that. You don't need a bed. You always bring that up like, you're so washed. It's a bed.
Sex off the bed? What?
I'll meet you in the bed at 3:13. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you, girl.
316.
The reason, Jacoby, I say he need to change the venue, my brother, I love you very much, and I just got a text, you better make time for lunch for me, because my interview got canceled. All of the things you said is why he need to change the venue. Because it is too personal. They do see the pictures on the wall. You do got to clean up where you live. They are opening the medicine cabinet when they go into the bathroom. They are judging the sauces you have in the refrigerator. Everything is you getting judged. That's why I said change the venue. You need to be meeting them at a third-party location.
My advice for him is
let me finish. You need...
Go ahead.
He needs a third-party location, dog. Trust Jalen on this one. I got you. Meet at a restaurant. Meet at a hotel bar. Meet at her favorite spots to have lunch or have coffee. Meet at the park. Go meet at a museum. Do it, whatever y'all passionate about. Go to a movie, go to a play under normal circumstances if it wasn't COVID. Do not have the meeting at your crib. That's what creates the anxiety. Let me tell you what'll change your home environment. When you did everything I just said, and then you take her to the crib. Now it's a lot different.
My
you
advice
see
for
what
him
I'm saying,
is more of a mental exercise. More of a mental exercise. It's just remember she's interested in you, you know, and she's nervous too. She's going on a date with you because she's interested in you. She sees something in you that you're special, that you could potentially be her lifelong mate, or you could just be a one-night mate. But she sees something in you that makes her want to spend time with you, and you have to remind yourself of that. You don't have to prove yourself to her. You already have. You deserve it. We got time for one more voicemail. Let's hear it.
What's up, Jalen and Jacoby? What up, though?
And always play music.
So tell me this fair or not. So my wife takes everything. She takes my hair grease. She takes my boxers. She takes my big T-shirts. She takes everything that you can even think of. She takes half of my food. The other day, I was sitting at home, and she had a bowl of apples. Then I went to go reach for something. And she snatched the apple away, like if I did something wrong, like I pretty much took the shirt off her back. Please tell me that it makes sense. Please help it make
sense. You have an amazing wife, and we appreciate power couples. Let me start by saying that. Thank you for the call. We appreciate the support.
Jalen, I understand where he's coming from, but that's the sacrifice you got to make, my guy. It's not, you know what? It's not equal. It is. There is a double standard. It's not fair. It's not just. It's the way it is. And you know what? I would rather have a wife that didn't give me anything, that took all my stuff, than not have a wife. So think about that. That's just the price you pay. And it's not okay. I understand how you feel. It's not okay. It's not fair. But that's just the price you're going to have to pay for the companionship of that young woman.
Yes, it's the price you're going to have to pay, man. She's going to always get the better sink. She's always going to get the better tub. She's always going to have a better area, the closet or the shower or space. That's always going to be the case. And I'll give you a few examples. I say this to my wife all of the time. I'm like, you do know that they pay you to talk about sports also, right? Because all of a sudden, everything's attached to my credit cards. I'm like, okay. We got Netflix, we got Hulu, we got Amazon, and like everything's on. So you don't even physically need my card. Yeah.
She got the Apple Pay on her phone is your card.
I'm walking to pick up all of these packages, and they got my name on them. And then I look to the side, the sticker got her name on it. So I'm opening up a couple of packages thinking they mine. And I'm like, oh, okay. I see what this is. I'm like, got it.
I got mad packages with my name on it with nothing I ordered on the inside. I'd say like 75% of the packages come to the house. They're like, I didn't order a case of wine. I don't need a case of wine. Got my name on it.
Dog. I got a couple of more for you. I'm like, you see my second set of car keys? She's like, oh, I had them and da. And then after looking for them for 2 days, she came to the conclusion that I had them. I'm like, well, you were just looking for them for 2 days. You know what I'm saying? Right? Oh, it's more. Phone charger. Like, phone charger. I'm just disappear. Earplugs, earbuds, all gone. I walk downstairs about to do a phone call every morning. She like, this morning, I come downstairs about to do our call. I'm like, where my earbuds? Where my earphones? Gone. So I'm like, what are you doing with all of these earphones and earbuds?
We'll be watching TV. My wife gets up, right? Comes back. And then like 10 minutes later, she gets up again. And she sits down next to me. And she's made a little plate of nachos, right? A little tiny, like personal little plate of nachos. And she just starts eating them, dipping them in salsa. I'm like, I like nachos too. You know what I mean? I like nachos. I would love some nachos right now. But she's not even like offering to share with me or anything. Yeah, she's kind of like, well, you got hands and feet. Go make yourself some nachos. I can't tell you how many times we'll be together. She'll get up, go to the kitchen, and come back with a snack for herself and not mention anything about me. Like, she's like, well, you could go in the kitchen and got the snack yourself. I feel like if you're taking the time and effort to put together nachos, you got to turn the oven on. You know, you got to like grate the cheese and put them on top. Like, that's work. You should make enough nachos or at least ask me if I want some nachos.
That's not a family dinner.
No, you gotta ask me if I want some nachos.
But this is
like
personal.
nachos.
So here's how I want to put a bow on this conversation. That means you have true love. That means you have a partner. And there are different ways that you find a way to get the big piece of chicken and all of that. Oh wait, that may only happen on our birthday. You're right. You're right.
Also, while I do support her, and that is the price you have to pay to have her companionship, you gotta share the bowl of apples. I'm imagining a bowl with like apples all cut up, just a little slice. Just give them one slice of apple. You know? That's all you gotta do. You're not asking for half of the apple.
I'm not gonna be able to do it.
Just get one slice of apple.
No.
Give my man
I'm with
an
her
apple.
on this one. Like, I can't front. I can't front, dog. The two examples I heard an example about apples, and I heard an example about nachos. And if I was both of those ladies, I cannot lie, I would have done the exact same thing in that scenario. That is not a family meal. That is not a team dinner. This is my bag of chips, for example. And when I have a bag of chips, okay, you're not sharing it with the whole house, Jacoby. When you have a candy bar, you're not like, hey, Quincy, hey, Chloe, you want half? You're not doing that. When you get your ESPN check, you know what you're not doing? You're not putting it on the table and say, hey, Q, what do you think we should do? What do you think we should go buy? Because he'll have a lot of answers. He'll tell you a lot of things that y'all can buy with that check.
Oh yeah. But Quincy has planned 7 vacations for after COVID. He's like, after COVID, can we go on Disney cruise? After COVID, can we go to California? After COVID, can we go here? I'm like,
yes,
travel agent?
Yes. This say yes. Yes. Let him imagine. Yes. Never destroy his imagination or creativity. Yes.
Whatever you want. Q.
Yes.
Whatever you want.
Yes. Can I tell you one of the funniest stories ever?
Mm-hmm.
This is when Mariah was young. And what we just said about Quincy reminded me of the story. She was trying to get me to go buy something. And literally, I didn't physically have any money. So I thought that was going to be like, look in my pockets. I don't have any money, so we can't go buy it. And she was like, you could go to the ATM.
It's right there, Dad.
She was like so young, dog. She was like 5, 6 years old. I was like, oh, okay, it's like that.
I see how this is gonna go. I see how this is gonna go for the rest of my life. I mean, my kids are getting older now. The Quincy's 7. They used to be like, I want ice cream. Be like, it'd be 4 o'clock on a Sunday. I want like ice cream shop's closed. I would just say stuff is closed at like the middle of the day. Oh, the movie's
Now
out.
they can
Movie theater
Google
closed.
it. They can Google
Movie
it.
theater closed. Yeah, now they're hip to it. They're like, no, it's not, Dad. It's lunchtime. Ice cream store's open.
Fam, I was just in Atlanta, right? And Gracie was talking about going to get a Lego. And I was cooking. It was raining. The dog was wet. The dog is big, King Louis, the German Shepherd. It was just a lot going on. So I was just like, we'll go grab the Lego in a little while, whatever, no problem. I look up, dog. 30 minutes later, dude knocking on the door. I'm like, who is this at the door?
What?
She done ordered something from Target. She done ordered the Legos from Target. I'm like, hold on. I'm like, first off, I don't know how y'all function when I'm not here, but from now on, when you order something, especially if they're gonna bring it to the house, 2 chains of command. 1, let me know you're ordering something.
Let me know. Yeah.
And 2, ask me if they can come bring it to the house.
Yes.
Because I'm looking, I'm like, I walk past the door, I'm like, is somebody walking up to the door? I'm like, who is this?
This is Atlanta too. Like New York, people are on the street walking around all the time. Yeah, and then he just hands it to you. I'm George from Target. Here's your Here's your $170 Lego set. My son will put together a Lego set, play with it for 5 minutes, and be like, "I want another Lego set, Dad." I'm like, "What? Just got one." Big shouts to Gracie and Mariah, Quincy and Margot and Chloe. Big shouts to Benny the Butcher. If you haven't, make sure you stream Burden of Proof, his new album.
The Butcher
We
coming.
will be back tomorrow. Why is that, Jalen Rose?
Shout to West Side Gun. Shout to Conway the Machine. Black Soprano family. We're not done. We're not done. We're not done.
Jalen and Jacoby is presented by Samuel Adams from Boston with Love. Savor the flavor responsibly. Part of Happy Hour.
Justin Fields and Ohio State Buckeyes head into State College to play Penn State Nittany Lions. That is a number 3 versus number 18 Big Ten big matchup, 7:30 p.m. Eastern on ABC. While all indications are that Big Ten matchup will be happening, there is one that will not. Wisconsin-Nebraska has been canceled due to COVID-19 complications. Jalen, I know you've got your eye on all the Big Ten football games. What do you think about this development?
I like that they're trying to create an honor system and stick to it. If it's the backup linebacker or if it's the starting quarterback, the rule is the same. Unlike the Dodgers and how they handle their post-game celebration by winning the World Series, you're dealing with students that are athletes and you're trying to protect them at all costs.
I think this is extremely important to be as cautious as possible with COVID-19. While many people are asymptomatic, there are definitely people, especially young people and those at risk, that can have serious health implications that could last a lifetime. I wish everyone the best of health, and I'll be happy that Michigan's going to play because I'm rooting for the Wolverines. And, Jalen, we have
Hail
some
to the
football
victors.
this evening. It is the Falcons against the Panthers. And, Jalen, there's something really interesting happening here. The Falcons are saying, we're not going to try to trade for Julio Jones. We would never trade Julio Jones. We would never trade Matt Ryan. However, seems like there are some teams that would give up some draft picks and some assets and some things that would help the Falcons rebuild if they put Julio Jones on the trading block. Do you think they should trade Julio Jones?
Absolutely not. You don't trade Julio Jones, Jacoby. But however, you do reevaluate Matt Ryan. That's who's under evaluation right now. You keep Ridley, you keep Jones. The receivers aren't their issue. And I'm pretty sure that ownership understands that. But either way, the new GM and the new coach are going to ultimately decide the future of the team.
Jalen, I still am flabbergasted that this Falcons team handed your Lions a victory by scoring a touchdown accidentally. This Falcons team is finding new and exciting ways to lose football games, unlike any other team I've seen in the history of the NFL.
That used to be
you know
us.
What?
That used to be us.
I'm happy that you guys were the benefactors of Todd Gurley accidentally scoring a touchdown. And we now have new footage where Matt Ryan explicitly looks at Gurley right in the face and says, don't score, get the first down and go down in the huddle. And Gurley just can't help himself. He goes down. I want to thank Benny the Butcher for coming by. Make sure you listen to the podcast where we have exclusive content with Benny the Butcher. We'll be back tomorrow at 2 p.m.
Black Soprano family, BSF.